Cool. So I'm going to try to speak as loud as I can, but if you can't hear me, then just wave your hand. Is that okay? Thank you. So my name is Bram. I'm an evangelist within Miro. Before I joined Miro, I didn't really understand what an evangelist is really about. The only thing what I realized is when I told my mother-in-law that I was going to become an evangelist, she was very proud. So I believe it was something good. My role within Miro is that I work with business leaders to really understand how they are changing their way of work and how Miro can collaborate with them to drive that change forward. Before Miro, I was a director in technology and innovation within Deloitte, where I was running a team mainly focused around blockchain, AI, RPA, and crowdsourcing. And in one engagement, I fell in love with the product. And I always believe once you fall in love, you got to follow your love. So that's why I joined Miro. What I would like to do today is, for the people who do not know Miro, I would like to give you a little bit of background, fairly short, and then would like to dive into how we are working around the future way of working. So what our mission is as a company, it's really to create the next big thing. We work for distributed teams. We allow distributed teams to collaborate to drive innovation, because we believe innovation only takes place through collaboration and synergy. What we are, some people think that we are a whiteboard. We're not a whiteboard anymore. We are really a digital workspace. Some people also call us their digital headquarters. And if you see how we evolved over the years, we started in 2011 as an online whiteboarding tool, but right now it's really this innovation workspace and AI where everything is happening in one environment. The key capabilities where we focus on is visual project management, diagramming and process mapping, content and data visualization, workshops, and async collaboration. And async collaboration is something where I will take a bit of time today because we do not do that enough. Product development and workflows and Miro AI. We are really a platform. So in our company, half of our people are hardcore engineers. It's also a platform where we invite our clients to basically create their apps on. So again, we're not a whiteboard. We're really a platform to drive innovation forward. We are being used by 99% of the Fortune 500 companies, and we have over 50 million users globally. The company has seen a massive growth during COVID, but it continues to grow. Now, what I would like to do is, I want to show you something on Miro AI. And the reason why I want to do this is not only because I'm extremely proud of what we have, but also to make you understand that AI, when we were talking about it 5 years ago, it was not accessible for everyone. It was complicated. You had to be a coder in order to work with it. The reason why AI is so important right now is because we can all work with it. And I'm just going to show you a few examples. And for the ones who have never seen it before, this is my Miro board. So this is my entire Miro environment. So everything I do it in one infinite canvas. Now let's see what we can do with AI. So let's say you're preparing for a presentation and you need to have an image. However, you don't have access to a certain stock portfolio or whatever, and you are searching for a sports car driving in the city center of Hanover. What you just simply do is you take the sticky, you generate the image with AI. Right now it's being generated, and then in a second or two, we're going to see it being created right there, which is royalty-free because it's been AI generated. Now imagine you're doing a workshop with your clients and you want to make it a bit more fun. What you can actually do is say, you know what, we want to have that sports car driving in the city of Hanover. However, I would like to have it in the style of Picasso. And just imagine when you're doing sessions with your clients, doing workshops, this kind of stuff will amaze them. So this is the Picasso-style car here in Hanover. Can I see some hands? Who of you is facilitating workshops for your clients? Okay. Do you know this horrible moment where you have this big wall and you need to summarize it, you need to put it all nice and neat and everything together, clustering? That's the moment when normally you say, let's take a 5 minutes break. And those 5 minutes, it's like rush time for the facilitators. So what you actually can do is, let's say you have had a brainstorm and all of this came out. You can just simply select it. And you know what? Let's make a summary out of it. There you go. Your entire summary generated in just a few seconds. This is radically changing the way you run your workshops. And this is also something, what is important to mention is that technology should work for you. Where too often I've seen is that we are trying to work with the technology. Another example which I like is, for example, let's do a session where we need to have them by keywords. There you go. Are these solutions innovative, efficiency? Can you imagine that when you're facilitating in front of a big crowd, that these kind of toolings will really help you to drive a much more efficient and better session? Okay. Now I've showed you a bit of AI, but what I really want to talk about here today is about the future of work. First question, and you are not allowed to answer it. Why do we work 5 days a week? Anyone? Please. Exactly. And why do we work 8 hours a day? Yep. Exactly. 8 hours of work, 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of family and religion. The craziest thing is, when you think about it, is that we are really advanced with technology, but we really haven't changed anything. Let me go there. We really haven't changed anything since 1926, which is quite crazy when you think about it. And still today, we are struggling with creating a different mindset to drive change. We all want to do it differently, but we don't know how. During COVID, what we actually have learned, and no matter how horrible that situation was, in times of crisis, we also learn new things and develop different ways of thinking. And I think one of the most important things is that what we have experienced is that we can build our work around our private lives instead of the other way around. I don't know if you recognize this, but during COVID, the first time you did grocery shopping at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because there would be a quiet time in the supermarket and you felt guilty, in your boss time, you would actually go into the supermarket and you would hide a bit and do it quickly, and then actually would encounter 20 of your colleagues doing exactly the same. We have learned that we can really radically change the way we work in combination with our private lives. I would have never thought before COVID that I could actually bring and pick up my children from school when I'm not traveling. I never thought that I would actually always be able to have a complete different lifestyle where I can do sports at 10 o'clock in the morning. And it works. The scary thing is, however, is that what we did see, and this is also coming out of a lot of researches, and I don't know if you have seen the announcement, it's a while ago from Musk, where he said, you need to be in the office. If you're not in the office, then you're not at work, and then there's no place for you in this company. But it's broader carried. 50% of the leaders are looking at having a complete back to office policy. But there's something gonna happen, which is gonna drive this back. And the very first one is the employee experience. The first question an employee asks to a recruiter when they go somewhere is, what is my salary? Number 2 question right now is, what is your flexibility policy? Can I work from any place, anytime, yes or no? Question number 3 is, what is actually my job going to be about? What am I going to be doing? But companies that do not have a clear answer on what their policy is will not be able to attract and retain the best talent in the market. The second thing is the ECG rules that are coming up. I don't know how familiar you are with them, and they are being seen as a risk by a lot of people, but it's a really interesting change what is happening. Companies will be measured on their carbon footprint, not by only what they produce, but added with their vendors. Meaning that if you want to work for a company, then you need to make sure that your carbon footprint is as low as possible in order to be able to work for that company. And this is going to drive a massive change in the market. Why is this also an opportunity? It's because I work with a lot of consulting firms that right now within their RFPs are already stating, we're going to work hybrid, we're going to work virtually, we're not going to travel so much, we don't need a lot of office space, we're going to work differently because we do not want to harm the environment. And they are winning proposals with this. Interesting enough is that a lot of people think when you're thinking of the carbon footprint, it sits in travel. It's actually not. It sits in data centers and offices. And when these new rules are going to apply, what we will see happening is that the numbers of offices will decrease and more people will start working from home again. Thirdly, the recession. I was last week in Japan, they see it happening. I was in Barcelona this morning, they see it happening. It's happening. I was in the US a few weeks ago. Although the recession is mild, no one understands right now what is happening. The only thing that we do know is that it has started and we're going to see more layoffs and we're going to see a whole lot of change. So what you see happening now within companies is that they need to lower their costs. And also in that sense, more and more companies will reduce the number of offices, which is a massive burden on their P&Ls, and they will ask people to work from home again. In other words, even though there are people who really would like you to go back into the office, change will come and your companies need to be ready to have a strategy in place to facilitate hybrids, which is one, a process, and secondly, supported by the right technology. Whenever we talk about the future way of working, 99% of the people are talking from where we're going to work. How should that look like? How should that home office look like? And so on. But we have an opportunity here to radically change the way we work in how. And one of the biggest things that we need to work on today, that we need to fix, is something which is really, really, really broken. To every business leader I speak to, their number one concern right now, their number one problem is the well-being of their employees because of the back-to-back meetings all day long. During COVID, we learned that if you needed to be in touch with each other, you need to claim someone's agenda and you need to have a call. And we continue doing this. After COVID, we've seen an increase of 252% in meetings. I want to bet that when you look at your agenda for tomorrow, you will have at least 4 or 5 meetings in there as well. The thing what we don't do, again, is thinking how we can change the way we work. And it's almost like we believe that only when we have direct interaction that we can actually be productive. This has been created by Gardner, and I would really like you to think about this, is that you have different shapes of working. And asynchronous collaboration is something that companies have not mastered. What asynchronous collaboration means is that I have something that I want to share with you to inform you on or to get your opinion on. However, you reply to me in your time when you are available. Think about this. When I'm working together with my colleagues in Seattle and in Japan, and we are having a meeting, then one of us needs to wake up really early or needs to stay up really late. We're claiming each other's agenda and thereby also claiming each other's well-being because we do not master asynchronous collaboration. Within Miro, we have a solution for this that I would really urge you to give a try once. Maybe I can show it later to people, but it's called Talk Track. And basically what you do is you create a recording of yourself while you're going through the boards. Where, for example, if I need to tell my team what to do the next day, I can go, hey team, good to see you all. What I would need your input on is this, 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 and this. And these are the tasks for tomorrow. If you have any questions, drop them in here and send me a talk track. So this video way of communication, asynchronously, is something that I believe that's going to be the biggest game changer. If you look at your agenda for tomorrow, think for every single meeting, are we going to collaborate? Do I really need that person to have a one-on-one with? Or am I just going to share my knowledge? I'm going to inform. Because if that's the case, take those meetings out of your agenda because it's not productive and it will affect your talent. One of the best things about my job is that I get to work with incredible thought leaders in the market. And the first one is Dr. Brennan Jacoby. If you have never heard of him, look him up. He's the founder of a company, Philosophy at Work. What he does is that he works together with top philosophers to tackle some of the problems that we're dealing with. When we're talking about hybrid, we're dealing here with a wicked problem. A wicked problem is a problem where we can't rely on our experience from the past. A wicked problem requires a different approach. If I ask people in a company who's designing your strategy, your flexibility strategy, you will always hear, oh, it's our CHRO. Why? Well, because she's extremely experienced. She has 20 years of experience within a company, and that's why she's doing it. The problem is, with a wicked problem, is you can't rely on your past experience. So what he believes in, and I share the belief, is that 9 out of 10 times these people create strategies from a scarcity mindset. And a mindset of scarcity means we don't have time, we need to have something in place by tomorrow, we don't have the resources to do this the best way. When you're designing a strategy and you need to deliver it next week, it's going to look completely different than when you embrace a mindset of abundance, where you're going to say, wait, if we have all the time in the world, all the money in the world, access to all the talent, how would that future way of working look like? And you will have a significant outcome, a different outcome. What we are dealing with now, it changed in 1926 by Henry Ford. We need to change it now again, but it's not going to happen overnight. So if we don't embrace that abundance mindset, then we're not going to be doing the right thing. Actually, what we're going to be doing, and maybe you recognize this, is we're going to ask our employees, how many days a week do you want to go back into the office? And some are going to say 4, some are going to say 2, some are going to say, I don't want to go back into the office. So then we answer, we listen to our talent, and we're going to do 3 days a week. And how they call this is the average trap. No one likes to be part of an average strategy, but this is what so many companies are doing right now. So my key message today would be for you, if you're dealing with designing the future way of working, change your mindset from we need to get something in place within the next few weeks or the next few months. This is going to be a process of years. And embrace the abundance mindset. Read the article because I think it will really help you to rethink on how you're maybe currently designing it. The second article I wrote was with Peter Fasano, and he's the vice president of WPP. It's the largest marketing agency in the world. And he has a brilliant mind. And he was part of research done by MIT, where they basically talk about the future readiness of organizations. In order to be a future-ready organization, meaning you will still be there in about 10 to 15 years' time, there are 3 pillars you need to invest in. The first pillar is the employee experience. The second one is the customer experience. And the third one is partners and ecosystems. And the weirdest thing is that we all, when we are talking about talent, we say they're our biggest assets. But we measure the NPS of our customers. We invest a lot of money in improving the customer experience. We do not do the same for employees enough. If you want to be a future-ready organization, you need to equally invest, but make sure that the employee experience is always covered. The third article I've written that was with Petra Tito. She is the leading partner of Deloitte Netherlands, of consulting, and former CHRO. And what is really interesting is that what she shared I could relate to because I was part of the company myself. But she basically talks about a human-centric workplace strategy. That is what you will need to have in place in order to thrive towards the future. And the 3 things that she names out is that, first of all, you need to foster a culture of feedback. We do not do this enough within companies. We ask our clients how we're doing. Maybe we send twice a year a survey to our employees to ask how they're doing and how they're feeling, but we not use them. We don't collect their feedback to actually iterate. And I will give you one great example. During COVID, every Deloitte employee was allowed to make use of a company that was called Charlie Cares, and Charlie Cares provide babysitters. The biggest problem I had, for example, is that my wife was working, I was working, And it was such an incredible mess in getting your meetings in during the day and not having the kids around. So Deloitte said, you can get a babysitter for free through Deloitte and we pay for it, so you can focus on your work. What they learned is that even after COVID, the need for parents with kids for a babysitter was just as big after COVID. So they decided to continue doing it. And these type of examples really come forth from when you listen to your people, what they need, and you respond to it, you create a human-centered workplace. Second thing is about unboxing people from jobs to unlock their skills. What we are doing is we're putting people in roles. We're not training up people in different skills. If you would ask me why so many layoffs are happening right now within the tech industry, it's because we have been recruiting people for very specific skills in a very specific role. And now the environment is changing, we start realizing that they're not flexible enough. The question is, who's responsible? Is it the responsibility of the employee to learn and explore different things, or does the company also have a responsibility in allowing people to reskill and upskill? The third thing is about broadening your definition of sustainability, and this is really interesting. Sustainability is not a nice to have. Part of the employee experience, it is absolutely critical. Employees within an organization only want to work for an organization that has a sustainable mindset, but also that enables their people to contribute to society, to contribute to sustainability. One of the projects we had within Deloitte was we were allowed to spend a certain amount of hours a year on any non-profit organization to help them to drive forward. A big investment from the company, but a massive impact on sustainability, and thereby a massive impact also on our employee experience. If we look back at what we discussed, I think the very first thing is, and the thing what is to me one of the biggest problems, is really that meeting culture. It's killing our talents. It's claiming all your time in your agenda. You're not productive. When do you start working? Late at night or in the weekends? That needs to be fixed, and we can only fix that by understanding that there are different ways of working. Secondly, if you haven't adopted AI in your way of working, then start doing that today. Your employees will ask for it, but also if you do not, you will lose from your competition. The abundance mindset to design your strategy. Embrace that different mindset. Do not think we need to have something in place next week. We don't have time to do this the right way. We need to. We need to change things since 1926. Equally invest in the three pillars, in your customers, in your employees, and partners in ecosystems. Right now with the recession, you see so many companies that are cutting on employee budgets. Oh yeah, we used to go once a year on a team event. We're not going to do that right now. However, we still spend the same amount of money on our customers or even increasing that. Created this balance, and MIT has proven that you will not become a future-ready organization. The last one from Deloitte: experiment, test, iterate, and implement. But listen to your people. Your employees will know exactly what they need. And when you listen to them and you acknowledge it and you are creative with solutions to them, you will create the best employee experience. I would like to round off with the quote that Dr. Brandon Jacoby shared with me during a live LinkedIn session, which I loved. I mean, we're all running around. We're all moving so extremely fast. There's so much around the corner with technology and with hybrid and the recession. But maybe we need to think of those moments that when you do not have time to think, it's likely the moment to stop and start thinking again. And I do hope that when you are leaving this incredible place tonight, that maybe you have some new ideas on how you want to do things differently tomorrow within your company. But also for yourself in the way how you work and how you run your own agenda. Are there any questions, any comments? And please, like, whenever I do my sessions, I don't always make friends. I like a good debate, so any questions or comments?